Ladies and gentlemen, what more is there even to say on this topic that hasn't been said over the years? People like myself and Star Wars Theory and so many others have been screaming at the top of our lungs, stop! Because the train tracks are broken and you were careening towards it full speed ahead. Well, now you've gone off the cliff. You are careening down towards the bottom of the abyss. And the thing is, the conductors, they could see that the train track was broken, but they put it into full gear anyway. It is truly inexplicable even to me, who understands that there is a lot of ego in Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger. But even with ego, even with politics, even with DIE and ESG and all of these other corrupting, disgusting, degenerate, racist, sexist, self-absorbed ideologies like that, the blue pill way of viewing the world, even with all of that, it is really hard to explain why on earth they would choose a feminist activist to make the next Star Wars movie. It is inconceivable, because any person looking to make some money, looking to build their brand, looking to develop a reputation, even by accident, they would not be able to make the blunders that Disney and Lucasfilm were making. How on earth do you not know that hiring a radical feminist director who has statements in public that people are talking about how she gets excited when she makes men uncomfortable? And I guess I make her excited because look at that face. She makes me very uncomfortable. Look at the eyes. The eyes never lie, Chico. Look at those. Those are crazy eyes. Do you really think that this is going to go well? How do you not know that this is going to be bad? And who at Disney is not doing their due diligence to basically vet these decisions? Who is not stepping in to say, no, you're not doing this anymore. We're having a new direction for Star Wars. We're going to make it about Star Wars. Not about women, not about your ego. We're going to have it be about Star Wars. The reality is that the female character that we liked, which was Cara Dune, they got rid of Gina Carano. A very lovely, very nice, very smart, very strong. They talk about women going, I'm strong. No, you're not, usually, when you have to say you're strong. Gina Carano is actually, seriously strong. Physically tough and mentally resilient. But look at this stuff. Does she have some sort of misgivings about the contributions to Star Wars by women, such as Marcia Lucas? Yeah, that's the other thing. These activists, in order to promote themselves and their brand of feminism, they erase the accomplishment and the decades of fan love of a lot of these female characters. It's indescribably frustrating. But even beyond that, it's really, really hard to explain why you would hire an asshole like her. Somebody that is so obnoxious and political and not interested in filmmaking or making a good movie. You know this isn't going to go over well. So what is the end game here? Explain it to me. I'm all ears. I want to know, what is the end game? What do you hope from Star Wars? Do you hope that it does badly? Is that the thing? Maybe it's a tax write-off. You're like, well, if Star Wars does poorly, we can write off taxes. Have you turned Star Wars into basically a slush fund? Where You don't really have to produce anything of value. You're just basically putting money into it. And are you washing cash for the mafia? Where you don't really want the movies to do well? I don't know. There is no answer that's off the table at this point because it's inexplicable. It's inconceivable that you would be this tone deaf for this long. 2015 was actually a long time ago, believe it or not. Almost 10 years ago. And for you to continue doing this, hiring feminist writers, hiring feminist directors, putting out this, the future is female content. Well, the future is female for Star Wars. It has been for quite some time, and the future is looking pretty bleak. If this is the future that women are in charge of, the future is doomed. All of this rah-rah girl empowerment stuff, but at the end of the day, it's the women that don't have to play these feminist games. It's the women who just sit down and get to work that end up creating the biggest impact. I'll give you an example. J.K. Rowling. I bring her up in nearly every one of these topics because she's one of the largest literary giants in the world. Potentially of all time. Harry Potter is something unique. It's something special. It's so popular that it basically supplanted Star Wars for a generation. Harry Potter was something special, and she built that on her back. She created that world and those characters. Now, do I agree with her politically? No, heck no. But you got to respect her and admire her. Another person that I bring up is somebody that a lot of people don't know. She's not as popular as J.K. Rowling, but in Japan, she's an absolute legend. Rumiko Takahashi. In fact, I really should bring up a picture of Rumiko Takahashi because she does deserve to be recognized. Because she has created more volumes of manga than, most people, most companies could do in a lifetime. She is truly incredible in what she's been able to accomplish. And of course, I click on this and I'm inundated with just all forms of ads. So bear with me. That's Rumiko Takahashi. Now, the reason I show her is because this one woman has created Inuyasha, Ranma 1/2, and a bunch of these others. She has created worlds and universes that are like 170 manga volumes, not chapters, volumes. Now, why do I bring that up? Why do I talk about this? Because I think it is absolutely crucially important to realize that this is not a gendered argument. I may make fun of Western women. I was going to say Western women and women, and I said Western women, especially those in Hollywood, especially those like Charmine Obaid Chinoy. I may make fun of them because they're physically, it's funny that they're old and fat and miserable and, their attitude is just so completely obnoxious. I may make fun of them for that, but at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that it's about their work, or really their lack of work, their obsession with themselves. I make fun of them because they're such egotists that it almost invites you to make fun of them because of how ego-driven they are. And anyone who says, I enjoy making men uncomfortable, that person doesn't belong anywhere near the fantasy entertainment space. That person should not be welcome. And so, my thing is, she should be made to feel uncomfortable and unwelcome. Because she's not welcome. She's not welcome in the fan entertainment spaces. Because she's not here She's not here to make Star Wars. She's here to make propaganda. She's here to make PR content for Kathleen Kennedy to go out there and say, we're part of the woke fight. But she's not here for you. She's not here for me. She's not here for movie making, filmmaking. She's not here to increase the value of Star Wars. She's here to use Star Wars to promote herself, which is a violation of your job. You've been hired to do one job. Make this movie, make it good. Guarantee it's not going to be. Because with you at the helm, lady, it can't be. You've never done anything on the scale of Star Wars. You've never done anything that requires the depth of knowledge of a Star Wars. And your attitude stinks to high heaven. It is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable. Well, yeah, if that's your worldview, you're pathetic. You are truly pathetic. How many great people, how many great creators do you think have said something like this? I'm looking to create a work to get a rise out of other people, to validate myself. How many other people? You want to get me pissed off? This is the way to do it. What an asinine thing to say. You're going into this with that attitude? It's shocking. And I guarantee this woman is such a pile of garbage that if there was a man who said, I enjoy making women uncomfortable, it is important to be able to look into the eyes of a woman and say, I am here, and recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you, uncomfortable. Imagine that. That person would be lambasted, they'd be fired, they'd be kicked out, they'd be called a creep and a weirdo. But this Yenta can run her mouth like this and then get a job directing a Star Wars movie that she doesn't deserve to be anywhere near. She doesn't deserve to be taking the tickets, directing people to their seats of a Star Wars movie. And it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude. No, you need to change your attitude, and you need to check yourself because you're coming in as a guest. You're a director on a movie and a franchise that has a long-standing tradition and a history that had nothing to do with you. You didn't help to create it. But we need to change for you? No, bitch, get out the way. No one cares about you or your ridiculous, perverse, low IQ, low value agenda. Get out of the way. You are standing in the way of good Star Wars content. You can't do the job that you were hired to do. You can't be impartial. You are basically a histrionic, hysterical bitch. You're a feminist. Go. No one's going to stop you. No one cares about you. No one knew who you were before this announcement. And people will forget that you even existed after this movie comes out because the movie's going to be so bad based on this attitude that no one's going to remember it. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to... So this is just platitudinal nonsense to hide your bigoted and low IQ opinions. That's what it is. No, being uncomfortable should not be the motivation of a movie unless that movie is something other than Star Wars. If you want to make a horror movie, fantastic. Make somebody uncomfortable. Make somebody on edge. Make somebody feel like they're shifty. Direct a Saw movie. That'd be perfect for you. You're more of a Saw franchise person. Because then you get to kill men, which clearly you hate men, so that'd be perfect for you. And you get to create these suspenseful, uncomfortable things. You'll make a lot of men uncomfortable. But at this point, you're not making me uncomfortable. You're making me sick. Because you're pathetic. And there's nothing redeemable about you or your message or what you're doing. This doesn't make you look good. It doesn't make you look benevolent. It doesn't make you look like a person with something worth saying. And I'll tell you what, you want to get men to hate women, like genuinely hate women? Spit on and destroy the things that they care about and insult them in the way that you have. That's the way that you get it. Some opinionated, loudmouth person like you comes in, nobody said anything about you. No one cared about you. No one had. I would never have made a video about you criticizing the movies that you made. I never would have done that because I don't care about you. You could do whatever you want. But then you step into Star Wars and you start insulting men. You start making these declarations that fans need to change. The attitude needs to change. No, you need to change. Your ideology, your cult is on the way out. Wokeness is a virus. It is a mind virus that it has lasted far too long. But look at the way that she talks. Perhaps look at yourself in the mirror. I would reflect that back at you. I would reflect it back. Look at yourself in the mirror. Actually, maybe don't look at yourself in the mirror. Holy shit. I'll just be brutally honest. You're an old, fat, unattractive woman that has one of the worst personalities and dispositions that I've ever seen. Your career has gone absolutely nowhere because no one knew who you were, and the only way that you're able to get attention is by putting out these hyperbolic statements that are designed to get people angry because you think that if people are angry, then that somehow means that you're right on the target. But sometimes when you're insulting people and you're spitting on their childhood memories and you're disrespecting something that they care about, sometimes anger is just anger. And at this point, people aren't really angry at you. They're just looking at you like you're a pathetic piece of garbage on the street, which is exactly what you are. You're not worth being angry at. We're just observing that you exist because you are jumping up and down, flapping your arms, screaming like a hyena. And so we look over you, we notice you, we said, oh my God, what the hell is that thing? God, that's gross. I can smell it from here. Ugh. And you keep jumping up and down, but eventually we leave. And we move on, and you're still there, left with the consequence of the fact that you didn't act in a respectful, decent way. So the next time that you come up to us, it's nothing. We just continue to walk away. And you're not going to get hired again after this thing bombs. They're thinking this is going to be some sort of Hail Mary miracle. They're going to hire you, and people are going to be so overwhelmed by wokeness that they're just suddenly going to be like, oh, I have to see the Star Wars movie. No, you have driven the passion and the joy and the soul out of Star Wars. And now what remains is a husk that nobody cares about and no one really wants to see, unfortunately. I will always have George's Star Wars. I will always have the fans that remain, that make great fan films. Like the guy who made the Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar fan film that was absolutely out of this world. That was spectacular on another level. They did something that Disney isn't even willing to do at this point, which is called try. Try? I mean, that's really all it is. Try. Put in your best effort. So, by the way, the YouTube channel is...
New Year's resolutions.
The YouTube channel with that fan film, I want to show it to you. The YouTube channel is called Hello There. Hello there. And the video in question, 2 million views. Congratulations. This is one of the best fan films I've ever seen. It is fantastic. So, my ultimate point in all this, we're not even really that mad anymore. I mean, anger was in 2015 when The Force Awakens came out, and it was a regurgitated, uninspired, just pile of garbage. The Force Awakens was terrible, but the only reason I say that is because I played the games. I played Knights of the Old Republic. I played Star Wars The Old Republic. So my bar for good storytelling in Star Wars was so much higher than the general population. Like, Tyrell Magnus, he did a review. He talked about, oh, I really liked The Force Awakens. It's good. For me, it was so bad because for example, Star Wars The Old Republic. You remember those high definition cinematics? They were just a masterpiece. They were so good. They told so much story in a short period of time, had different characters, force powers. It was all interesting, all cool, fast paced, awesome, badass. Like, I've seen that stuff enough that when they come out with The Force Awakens, I'm like, ugh. Like, ugh. Oh, man. That's the best that you can do? Ooh, I'm like, that's embarrassing. Like, that's really embarrassing. So, anyway, that's my opinion on this whole topic. It's, God, is it embarrassing for this woman to have those opinions, to come out there and think that you're going to win people over, or not even win people over, that you're going to make a good Star Wars movie that people are going to want to see, that you're going to change hearts and minds. You're not going to change anything. Anyway, on that note, I will bid you guys a good day, and I will see you next time.